Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Ant, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a Pokemon HeartGold post-game hardcore Nuzlocke shiny only. Now, this is a follow-up to an old video I made that you guys have requested a bunch. So, I decided that today was the day. Also, if you're new to the channel and find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I'd love for you to stick around. And without further ado, let's go get into things. Alright, so we're going to start things off here by getting on a ferry and heading over into Vermilion. And once getting into Vermilion, we're going to go check the route just above because we need to get a new Pokemon. Now, I'm not actually shiny hunting here. I'm just looking for a Pokemon that can cut down the tree outside of Surge's gym.
What is my purpose?
You cut trees.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
We eventually find ourselves this Bellsprout, catch this up, teach it its only purpose, and we go get inside Surge's gym. So Surge here starts off with Raichu. I start off with Alakazam. I'm going to start going for some Carmines. It hits me with a Thunder Wave on the first turn as well. And because of Synchronize, I can also put the Raichu back under Paralysis because of this. And Surge pretty much is just going to be a sweep. We keep using Carmines. And Raichu is using Double Team, which is going to raise its evasiveness. But I'm not really worried about this. So go put myself into +4. Go for a Psychic. We do miss, but we're just going to keep spamming this till eventually when we hit and take down the Raichu. After this goes down, Surge sends in Electabuzz. We go for another +4 Carmine Psychic and take this down to a third Psychic. Then on the Electrode at +4. He's going to go take this down with a one-shot as well. Same with his next Electrode too because he has two of them. And now lastly we just have his Magneton. Magneton at +4 Carmine, even though it's not very effective, is still going to go and take this down with a one-shot. And let's Surge defeated for the first Cantonian Gym badge of the run. Now from Vermilion, I'm actually going to head away into Celadon and start shiny hunting Eevee. I'm using the game corner strategy so I can get about 5 Pokemon all at once. We're getting about 5 Pokemon every reset. And we're getting in around about 20 encounters per minute. This shiny Eevee came in around about the 2000 mark, so heavily under odds. But we take it, and from Celadon, I'm going to go and make my way all the way down into Fuchsia because that's where the next gym is for us in the route that I've planned because Janine has got the lowest level cap of 50. And with this, we go get into the fight. Janine starts off here with Crobat. I'll start off Alakazam, go for a Carmine, put myself into +1, take a Wing Attack, and then I go for a Psychic and go take this down with a one-shot. This whole gym is basically just going to be an absolute sweep by Alakazam now as well, even at only +1 Carmine. So Crobat goes down. Janine then sends in Ariados. This goes down to a one-shot from Psychic as well. She has 2 Ariados in this fight, so the next one's also going to go down, just like the previous. A level 50 Pokemon Venomoth comes in after. This also goes down to a one-shot from Psychic too. And now we just lastly have Weezing, who, just like I was saying before, nothing's surviving a +1 Carmine Psychic in this gym. We go take this down, and that's Janine defeated for the second Cantonian Gym badge of a run. Now this fight's not really going to amount to anything in the run, but I'm just leaving it in here because when we go take down this guy's Golbat, we can go find Misty, and we can get her to go return to the Cerulean Gym. Before we go get in the gym as well, I'm also going to go evolve our Eevee over into an Espeon. I really wanted Vaporeon, but I opted against it because I always go with Vaporeon for some reason. And after finishing all of our preparations from here, we go head into the third gym fight against Misty. So Misty's here leading off with a Golduck. A team consists of Golduck, Quagsire, Starmie, and Lapras. So I'm going to lead off with my Ampharos here. Take a Water Pulse on the first turn. That I pray doesn't confuse me, and it doesn't. I go for a Charge Beam, and I'm also praying here that it's going to go put me into +1 too. We hit the Golduck, knock it to just below half-life. Do get that special attacking boost. And from here, because it sometimes goes for Disable, I go for a Signal Beam. And she actually makes a hard switch here over into Quagsire. So Signal Beam is going to go knock this down below half-life. And then from the next turn, due to being faster, I can go finish off her Quagsire, which is probably my only threat in this fight. So Quagsire goes down. She then sends out Lapras, and I'll go for a Charge Beam once again, seeing if I can go get myself into +2. Now this doesn't actually happen, and we get hit by an Ice Beam after. We do tank this pretty nicely, and then we go for a Discharge to go finish this off. In hindsight, I probably still could have went and used Charge Beam again and seen if I could get myself into +2, but nothing surviving Discharge. The next Pokemon after then Starmie. Starmie hits me with an Ice Beam as well, and that puts me into quite low life. We hit the Discharge though, and Starmie goes down straight away to a one-shot. Now this was actually kind of maybe a tiny bit of a misplay here from my side. Golduck comes in. It is faster than me. I know it's probably going to go for either Disable or Water Pulse, and it goes for Disable here. and it disables the discharge I was actually using as well when I knew to use Charge Beam there. Now, what is also going to make this pretty bad is now it's probably going to go for Water Pulse, and it does, and I've stayed in. Now, I know I was going to survive a Water Pulse, but I did risk confusion here, and if I did get confused and hurt by confusion, I probably could have lost Sean as well, so very big possible misplay on my side, but it all worked out in the end. We take down the Golduck and defeat Misty to get our 3rd gym badge. Now immediately from Cerulean, I'm going to go ahead into Pewter and go get into a fight with Brock. Brock's Graveler's immediately going down to a one-shot from Waterfall from my Gyarados due to being double super effective. And then next Brock sends in Omastar, so I'm going to make a hard switch here over into Sean. Omastar hits us with Ancient Power, and all I'm praying for is that it does not get the boosts, which thankfully it doesn't. It then protects on the next turn as well to stop my discharge. And then I go for another discharge on the next turn as Brock goes and makes a hard switch over into Rhyhorn. Now our attack's not going to affect this due to it being a ground type. And I'll go make a hard switch myself here as well over into Fish. I guessed it was going for Earthquake, which it does, so we go and dodge that. And then because this is also a rock ground type and this is double super effective, we're going to go take this down with a Waterfall. And that will cause Brock to send back in Omastar again. So with this, we make another hard switch over into Sean again. It goes for another Ancient Power on our switch again as well, so I am hoping right here but it's not going to get the boosts once again. It doesn't. We hit discharge on the turn after, and Omastar goes down to a one-shot. We then get Onyx, another rock ground type, so once again another hard switch here over into Fish. We're actually hit with a Rock Slide this time as well instead of an Earthquake. Doesn't do too much damage because Onyx doesn't actually have very high base attacking stat. We hit this with a double super effective Waterfall, take this down with a one-shot, and that's going to put us into Brock's final Pokemon, Kabutops. So with the Kabutops, I'm going to go make a switch here from Gyarados, and I'm actually going to go over into my Espeon here, who still doesn't have a nickname yet. I was still considering it at the time, but we come up with something eventually. We take a Rock Slide on the switch, and then on the next turn, I'll go hit this with a Psybeam. This is going to put it just below half-life. I take a second Rock Slide after, and that's going to put me down into quite low life as well. But because I'm faster, I can go for another Psybeam from here, take down the Kabutops, and defeat Brock for our 4th gym badge. And from Pewter, we're going to head all the way down to Cinnabar Island, and then go from Cinnabar Island to the Seafoam Islands, and go get into our next gym fight with Blaine. Blaine only has 3 Pokemon in this fight as well, and he's going to start off here with his Magcargo. I lead Fish, and I go for a Dragon Dance on turn 1 to go and put myself into +1 attack and +1 speed. Magcargo after is going to go hit me with a Rock Slide, and from here I'm going to go for a Waterfall and go take down the Magcargo with a one-shot. My plan for this gym was to just sweep all of his Pokemon with Gyarados, and Blaine sends out his next Pokemon, which is Magmar, and because of this I go for a Waterfall. Now the Waterfall does take down the Magmar with a one-shot, but we do get affected here by Magmar's ability, which is Flame Body, and that puts us under the burn status. And now because of burn status, it means our attacking output is not going to be as strong anymore. So when Blaine sends out his final Pokemon Rapidash, I'm actually forced to switch. I switch here over into Sean, take a quick attack on the switch, and our ability Static actually affects Rapidash here, so I guess it's kind of fair in that sense. I go for a Charge Beam after on the next turn. We don't do too much damage to the Rapidash, but we do also go get ourselves put into +1 from the Charge Beam. Next turn there, we hit a second Charge Beam, and Charge Beam actually critical hits and takes down the Rapidash. So even though our plan with Gyarados didn't work, this gym wasn't too hard to defeat. We defeat Blaine and get ourselves our 5th gym badge of a run. And with that, we head straight over into Saffron City to go get into our next gym fight of a run against Sabrina. She's just like Blaine as well in the sense that she only has 3 Pokemon. She starts off here with Espeon. I send out my Gyarados. We take a Psychic on the first turn. They are a bit faster than us. And then I go for a Dragon Dance. I'm going to go put myself into +1 attack, +1 speed. This is going to make us faster. And because I know I'm going to survive the next Psychic as well, hopefully, at least if it doesn't crit, I go for a second Dragon Dance, put myself into +2 both attack and speed. Espeon goes for Calm Mind, and then now I know that if it does hit me with Psychic, I'm going to go down, so I go for a Waterfall on this turn and take down the Espeon. She next then sends in a Mr. Mime, and this also goes down to a one-shot from Waterfall as well. And that just leaves us now with our Alakazam, one more +2 to attack Waterfall. Alakazam goes down, and that's Sabrina defeated. And now with Sabrina down, we're going to go head over into Celadon and go get into our 7th fight of the run against Erica. Erica's a grass type trainer, and she's going to lead off here with Jumpluff. And all of the Pokemon actually have Conforal ability as well, so when they set up Sunny Day, they're going to be faster than me. But I'm also in Sunlight, so Triangle 70 can come in and flamethrower everything with a one-shot, or at least for as long as he can anyway. Jumpluff goes down. I take a Ring Out off a Tangler, which does quite a bit of damage. But this also is just another one-shot to flamethrower, so we go and take this down. I get Victory Bell after. Hits me with a Grass Knot. Now, unfortunately, this actually crits me into low life, which is actually really annoying. I only had Oran Berries as well. I never had a Citrus Berry, so it's not like I could get much health back either. I go for a Flamethrower here on the Victory Bell. This also goes down to a one-shot because of a Sunlight. And now lastly, we have Blossom. And well, basically with my HP only being at 57 right now, and because of the Sunlight still being up, so Blossom's going to be faster than me, I decide that I'm not going to take the risk and see if I can tank the Solar Beam. And I go make a switch here over into Psycho. And this actually does a lot of damage to me, way more than I thought it was going to do. So I make a switch here from my Alakazam over into Espeon, take another Solar Beam on switch, and basically what I'm really deciding to do right now is to just waste the Sunny Day turns, especially because Solar Beam's doing so much. But because the Sunlight ends here, I decide I'm going to stay in and do a bit of chip damage with Psybeam. This does a little bit of damage to Blossom. I take a Giga Drain as well, which does around about half of my remaining life and heals the Blossom a little bit. So from here, I'm going to make another hard switch here over into Typhlosion, take a Giga Drain on the switch, and because we're not in Sunlight anymore and because I'm in Blaze, I'm going to go for a Flamethrower from here, take down the remainder of Blossom's HP, and defeat Erica for her 7th gym badge. And now with Erica down, we've only got one more gym leader left to defeat, and that's Blue, so I'm going to head down to Cinnabar Island, show him that I've got 7 gym badges, and get him to return to the Viridian Gym, where we're going to go get into our final gym battle of the run. So Blue here leads off with Exeggutor, I lead off with Triangle 70, and because I'm faster, I'm going to go for Eruption and take down the Exeggutor with a one-shot. Straight up after this then, Blue sends out Rhydon. I make a switch here from Triangle 70 over into Fish, and I give it an Intimidate attack drop. I really didn't think that was going to mean anything, but I thought it was going for Earthquake. It tries to go for Stone Edge and misses, thankfully, and I go hit this with a Waterfall. It's double super effective, so this goes down to a one-shot. Nextly then, Blue's going to go send in Machamp. I make a switch here from Gyarados over into Psycho. I take a Thunder Punch on the switch, and that actually puts me into midlife, but I know that Alakazam's got a load of special attack. I trust Alakazam here. I go for a Psychic, and Machamp goes down to another one-shot. Nextly then, Blue sends out Arcanine. I make a switch here over into Gyarados, taking Extreme Speed on switch, and I go hit the Arcanine with a Waterfall. Waterfall almost takes down the Arcanine. Blue uses a full restore, and because I know he's going to go for a full restore here, I'll go for a Dragon Dance and go put myself into +1 attack and speed. From here then, when I go for this next Waterfall, I know it's going to one-shot, so we go for this and we take down Blue's Arcanine. Straight after this, he sends in a Gyarados of his own. I feel it's going to Dragon Dance, so I go for a substitute, and I start trying to hit this with some Ice Fangs. It uses Return on me and breaks my sub, and I know here that I'm going to die. So after looking through all of my options, I tried to think who's going to be best suited to take 2 hits of Return from this Gyarados. And the only option I could see was Sean, so I make a switch here over into Sean and take a Return on switch. This does quite a lot of damage, and I weren't expecting this move either for some reason. I take a Waterfall on the very next turn, and I was thinking, oh no, we've lost Sean. And Sean survives on 2 HP. I was so happy. We go for a Discharge on the Gyarados. We take this down, very fortunately, as then Blue sends in his final Pokemon, Pidgeot. So for the Pidgeot here, with Sean on 2 HP, I know I'm definitely not staying in. I make a switch here over into Kiwi. We do get hit with a Return on that switch as well. I then try and do a bit of chip damage to this with Psybeam, and that's going to leave a Pidgeot just above half-life. And as the next return puts me into low life, I'm making another switch here over into Triangle 70. I really hope to not take too much damage from this return, because I actually wanted to go for Eruption, but Eruption here and maybe this life I didn't think was going to kill, so I went for Flamethrower, and the Pidgeot survives on literally 1 HP. Thankfully, it gets a bit of Citrus Berry healing though, because that takes a Pidgeot's life past healing range. And because of that, I can go for another Flamethrower here, outspeed the Pidgeot, take this down, and that is Blue defeated for our 8th gym badge. This now allows us to get access to HMO8, which is Rock Climb, and it also allows us to get access to Mount Silver for our final battle of the run. But before we can even think about going into this final battle of the run, we need to go back to shiny hunting again. And I decided decided where else to look than Mount Silver, and I spent hours looking literally just in hopes that we could find ourselves maybe a shiny Donphan or shiny Larvitar. And after all this time spent here hunting, we end up finding ourselves a shiny Golbat. At this point, I was happy to just get anything aside from Onyx. So I go and capture this up, do a little bit of training, go and get my Golbat to evolve into a Crobat, and then we go get everybody up to our level cap of 84 in preparations for our final battle of a run against Red. The thought of this battle with Red was literally terrifying. He starts off by sending out his Pikachu. I start out by sending out my starter of Triangle 70, and I was kind of conflicted on what to go for here. I wanted to go for Eruption, but I didn't think I was going to be fast enough, so I decided I was going for Flamethrower, and I didn't actually think this was going to happen, but Flamethrower one-shotted his Pikachu. He then nextly sends out his Blastoise, and for me here, I'm going to go make a switch over into Gyarados, and I'm hit with a Focus Blast on the switch. I'm also getting hit by Blizzards as well, that are doing quite a bit of damage to me. I decide I'm going to try and go for a Dragon Dancer while Blastoise is faster, and then I'm going to start going for some Waterfalls and hoping to try and get a flinch. This doesn't work on this turn, but Blastoise does miss the Blizzard, which was absolutely amazing for us. I then go for another Waterfall, and we actually critical hit this as well, but Blastoise survives. So although we got a crit, it wasn't as great as we wanted. We at least got that flinch though, and Red healed Blastoise. Now on the hill, I decide I'm going to go for a Dragon Dance here and go put myself into +2 attack and speed before retrying the same strategy again. I go for a Waterfall, do more damage this time, and pray for that flinch, but we don't get it, and we get hit by a Blizzard. This drops Gyarados down into quite low life, so I decide from here I'm going to make a hard switch over into Sean. We take another Blizzard on the switch, and we freeze! Everything just seemed like it was going completely wrong in this fight. So because of this, I have to make a switch here over into Psycho. And what makes this suck even more is that Sean was my strategy for both his Charizard and his Lapras. So this next switch here over into Alakazam, we take a Blizzard on the switch, and I go hit this with a Psychic. And Blastoise again survives on really low HP as it hits me with Hydro Cannon. It was so unexpected, and this goes and takes down Psycho as well, so I was really upset about that. We got our first death of the run against Red. I then send in Echo, and I know here that Red's not going to be able to heal because he needs to recharge this turn, so I go and take down his Blastoise with a Poison Fang. After Blastoise goes down, Red then sends in Lapras. I go make a hard switch here over into Triangle 70. Lapras goes for Blizzard, which thankfully misses, and this definitely wasn't the option I wanted to go with here because Lapras is super effective against me, but whilst I'm at full HP, I'm going to go for an Eruption and try and do as much damage to this as I can. And this Eruption goes and puts a Lapras down into 1/3 of its life. I then get hit by a Brine, and that puts me to just above half life, and then I go for a Flamethrower, praying that this takes us down, and we manage to take down the Lapras. Nextly then we've got Snorlax. I go and hit this with a Rock Climb. It doesn't do much damage. It hits me with a Crunch after, and from here I decide I'm going to switch over into Echo. I take another Crunch on the switch, and I'm going for a Poison Fang. I'm praying to try and poison this. We don't manage to get the poison. We get hit by a Blizzard, and that Blizzard's going to put us into really low life. I decide I'm going to risk sacking Echo whilst going for another Poison Fang in hopes to get that poison status on the Snorlax. This doesn't happen again. We get hit by a second Blizzard, and we lose Echo, causing us to get our second death of a run. With Echo down and Snorlax on quite low life, I decide here I'm going to go into Fish. I'm looking at Fish's life, especially with the Intimidate attack drop. I feel it's safe for me to try and set up this substitute. I go for this. Snorlax goes for Blizzard. Unfortunately, it hits us, but it doesn't break our substitute. So because of this, I have a free turn here to set up a Dragon Dance. Snorlax goes for Blizzard again, and it misses. And I could have set up another Dragon Dance here, but I decided against it and just went for Waterfall. I felt I was much safer underneath a substitute, especially because after we take down Snorlax, Red then sends in his Venusaur, and I didn't think this was going to one-shot at +1, so having a substitute would have been really nice for us. I go for this Ice Fang as well, and we managed to get a critical hit, so Venusaur goes down to a one-shot from Ice Fang, and now lastly Red sends in his final Pokemon Charizard. A +1 attack boosted Waterfall on the Charizard is going to go take this down with a one-shot, and that's Red defeated, meaning that we've beaten the challenge and we've beaten the run. Guys, this has been really long overdue and has been asked for a while, so I really hope you've all enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, make sure you smack that like button. I really want to see if we can break like 100 likes. Show me some love down in the comments, and also if you're new to the channel and found that you've enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, make sure you smash that subscribe button. It's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out, guys.